Hello, all of my Aries people out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder, of course, if you ever want to get weekly updates for what's going on astrologically on a weekly basis, I want to come back on a weekly basis. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you do need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. So what's happening when it comes to your June? Well, the first half of the month, we have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in the sign of Gemini, your third house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, as well as helpful third parties, allies, and even hookups to a certain degree. And this is making for a very fast-paced first half of the month for you. The Sun in the third house is attracting a lot of attention to your goings-on, whether they are projects or these are professional relationships, professional pursuits, and Mercury is helping to speed up the completion of a lot of commitments and a lot of contracts and any kind of to-dos where you may be involved with other people, helping to speed up advancement in things in your life that have fallen behind or things that have gone a bit slowly. Just pay attention to where help is on the way and where people are trying to get more involved in hooking you up and helping to speed things along that could go faster, especially when it comes to accomplishments, anything that could be bringing you profit, or anything that could be helping to pull closer into your life, big opportunities for maybe jumps, transitions, new connections, or again, hookups on the professional and the personal front. We also have Venus here coming as the matchmaker with anything that you need a bit of matchmaking help with. When Venus is in the third house, this is a time where, professional matchmaking, personal matchmaking, relationship matchmaking is really, really strong. And you might want to be open to being taken or led by the hand by those that are showing up to support you. This is also a time where a lot of important gifts are going to be coming your way. And it may be through, those 1 degree of separation connections that you're going to be in for a lot of big scores. We also have a new moon in this part of your chart on the 6th, which is opening up a 2-week window period where a lot of you are getting a chance to make some kind of very important lateral move in your life. Now, this could be something social, this could be something professional, but what is happening with the new moon in the third house is that you are getting a chance to be guided out and away from places or from situations that you've been spinning your wheels in. And this could indicate new commitments, new connections, or new hookups as well that help deliver you from those kinds of circumstances. We also have Mars entering Taurus in the first half of the month, which is going into your second house of employment, security, values, and valuables. And from the 9th of June on for the rest of the month, you are in a space where work is really becoming a lot more demanding, but also a lot more competitive and a lot more profitable. Just be ready with Mars in the second house. You're likely going to need to find some extra hours in the day because you are going to be way more high in demand, but there will be big payoffs for it. As we go on to the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury moving on into the sign of Cancer, which is your fourth house of home, family, your living situation, and anything relating to your home economy. Now, with the Sun here, this is going to be a time where a lot of you are getting a chance to reconnect with aspects of yourself that really do make you feel more at home in the world. These could be activities, these could be important connections as well, or this could be a time where a lot of you are also doing a lot of serious work in eliminating a lot of shadows, negative trends, or just problematic circumstances that seem to follow you wherever you go, especially as it relates to the home and family front or home and family relationships. Venus here is going to be a godsend when it comes to the home economy in general, because there seems to be a lot more wealth being attracted to the household as a whole. Now, this could be your income, this could be a partner's income, or any other kinds of contributions, home-based business operations, or even things going on where it seems like the whole house or the whole household is getting into a really wealthy way. And this is also a time where a lot of you are getting a chance to find a new way to explore love closer to home. So this could indicate new love opportunities for those of you looking for love coming through close friends, family members, or maybe even taking us down memory lane into our past, old environments, things like that. And Venus here is also going to give a chance to plant new roots for those of you who are in committed relationships that would like to start a new phase or establish a new phase in a relationship. And Mercury here is going to be speeding up progress with anything that you've been trying to get done around the house or for your home environment or for family members. This could be speeding up projects, speeding up moves, anything that is going to help us transition a stage in our life as far as home priorities are concerned. On the 21st, we have a full moon in Capricorn, which is your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, station, promotions, and raises. And a full moon in the 10th house is a graduation moon. And starting on the 21st and during the 2-week window period following, a lot of you Aries people are going to get a chance to make a big jump out of a lane, a station, or off of a path that you have been in, or been on, as it relates to your career. Now, this could show up as a promotion, or again, a transfer or a move of some kind. That's been kind of a low-key theme of June throughout this whole read, but also at the same time a jump into a higher status as it relates to your influence, as it relates to maybe your own satisfaction with the work that you do, or a golden opportunity coming from a position opening up in your world or in your vocation. And finally, we also close up the month with another long-term retrograde, an outer planet retrograde. Saturn turning retrograde in Pisces on June 29th and staying retrograde in Pisces all the way up through mid-November. Now, Saturn, when turning retrograde, kind of changes his priorities a little bit. When direct, Saturn is all about restriction, rules, maturity, discipline, and even karma. But when Saturn is retrograde, those limitations, those binds, those restrictions, or any kind of pressures tend to relax. And because Saturn is retrograde in the 12th house, this, for you anyway, this is going to be a time where a lot of you are getting a chance to enjoy a bit of freedom as it relates to maybe doing some backpedaling work or some reversing work, especially with Saturn retrograde in the 12th house. You're going to have a lot of escape opportunities from any kind of situation that you've been looking to leave or make some kind of serious departure from over the course of this coming few months, starting on the 29th. And any kind of resistance or shackles or any kind of oppressive influences that have been maybe keeping you in a certain corner of your life that has been blocking you from either getting back on a path you wanted to be on or stay on, or something that's been preventing you from moving forward and away from a station you've held for a long time. That's the nice thing about Saturn retrograde. Those limitations and those challenges relax. So that is what we've got for your astrology for June, Aries. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and should you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. There, all of my Taurus folk out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder, if you enjoy weekly astrological updates, you might want to come back on a weekly basis. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. So what's going on when it comes to your June? The first half of the month, we've got the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in Gemini, your second house of income, employment, values, valuables, and security. And this is going to be a month where a lot of you are, especially with the Sun being there, getting a chance to get more value from what you are contributing to your world through your workforce. Now, with the Sun here, this can absolutely be a beautiful period for a lot of you looking to maybe get more out of a role that you have, or to maybe attract more attention or support to yourself through professional connections and professional relationships. But you're also going to notice a lot of environmental changes going on in your market, in your professional world, that are also going to profit you much. Mercury here is also speeding up the rate with which you are accumulating wealth, as well as climbing professional ladders. And Venus is going to be bringing you a lot of new favor and favors, not only in the form of popularity and affection when it comes to the workspace, but turning you into a bit of a money magnet as well. This is also a time where a lot of you, especially in the first half of the month, are going to be hitting a brand new stride when it comes to not only the work you do for whatever organization you work for, or for your business, or for your vocation, but you're developing a completely new sense of security because of some kind of, again, big environmental change that is going to be making things a lot more easy on one hand, but also at the same time more gainful. We also have a new moon in this part of your chart on the 6th. And so this is where we see an opportunity for a lot of you to step into a new role or step into a brand new career path. Now, this could be something that is going to either precipitate a new job opportunity, a new title, or maybe even have you working for a different superior. This could be something internal, or this could be something external, but this is starting up a new story, right? New moons are all about new commitments, new beginnings, fresh starts. And this is something that's going to be very favorable to you as well, because it's kind of dislodging you from something that's become a bit ho-hum or has kind of reached the limit in terms of its growth potential. We also have Mars entering your sign on the 9th, which is all about you coming into a space where you're getting a chance to do a lot of blockbusting throughout all corners of your world. Mars enters your sign on the 9th, but will be there all the way up through July. With Mars in our sign, we've got the wildcard blessing of the planet of passion, action, energy, as well as that obstacle-clearing driving force. And so if you've been feeling almost like you've been forced to be sat still, you're waiting on other people, there's been, things have been progressing maybe too slowly in your life, or you've just hit a lot of walls or glass ceilings, June is going to provide ample opportunity for you to get yourself, again, dislodged in these areas as well. As we go on into the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury moving on into the sign of Cancer, which is your third house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, helpful third parties, allies, and hookups. And when we have the Sun here, this is going to, set up a bit of an interesting trend where a lot more people are going to be wanting to get more involved in your affairs, both professional and personal. And with the Sun, this is about attracting good help, attracting good allies, both personal connections and professional relationships, to connect with you and collaborate with you more closely. Mercury here is also going to be helping you to speed up things that have maybe fallen behind in your life, whether it has to do with a project, a pursuit, a goal, or maybe something where you have been trying to complete an old commitment, an old story, or an old contract to bring it to fruition and then call it good. Venus here is also going to be bringing in that matchmaking force that she does in the third house. So getting match made with opportunities, whether it's helpful third parties matchmaking you in professional connections or, again, creative pursuits, personal projects, as well as even matchmaking opportunities in love for those of you who are open to it. Venus is all about making sure that, again, the best allies and the most helpful third parties know how to find you. So you gotta know how to work with them. We also have a full moon in Capricorn on the 21st. This is taking place in your 9th house of expansion, growth, big moves, big travel opportunities, long distance connections, as well as government and legal proceedings, and even your spiritual path and practice. And when we have a full moon in the 9th house, this is a time of launches. This is a time of breaking the mold, or even getting us out of some kind of bubble or some kind of box that we have been in, or a rut that is falling away. Now, this could be externally motivated, something going on outside of yourself, or something that you have been pushing to make happen that will likely succeed in the 2 weeks following the 21st. This can also be a very important graduation period, especially when it comes to long distance connections or any kind of big projects, big moves, or maybe even big travel opportunities that you've been looking to secure, either as we go through June into July or even into later on in the year. And finally, we also have Saturn turning retrograde in the sign of Pisces, your 11th house of friendships, community, your support system. And this is going to be a long-term retrograde. It's an outer planet, right? So Saturn retrograde starting on the 29th of June, but going up until about the 15th of November. When we have Saturn in the 11th house, direct, right? Saturn is the planet of restrictions, boundaries, maturity, discipline, and karma. And sometimes it can put a hamper on our efforts to maybe work with people in a more social capacity. It can make us feel a little bit more isolated, cut off from friends, cut off from community, or just really challenge certain corners of our social world. But when Saturn turns retrograde, we see a lot of those restrictions and a lot of those hamper influences start to relax. And so this is going to be helping you to maybe bridge some gaps that you've been living with or coping with this last year and a half as it relates to your social life. Saturn retrograde in the 11th house can also bring closer friends and allies and community that will also be helping you tackle things that you have been, for the most part, working with or trying to take on, but maybe you've been a bit short-handed. So that is what we've got for you for June. I hope you found this helpful. And of course, Taurus, don't forget, if you ever want to get a session with me, remember my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and you can always schedule a session with me at my website, integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, all of my Gemini people out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder, if you enjoy weekly updates on astrology, you might want to come back for the weekly astrological updates that I do as well. And of course, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com. So what is going on when it comes to your June? Well, so when it comes to June for you, the first half of the month is actually quite special. We've got the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in your sign. So we've got this sort of triple wildcard blessing going on for you. The Sun and Mercury together in one's sign is all about rapid developments, rapid movements, as well as also the opportunity to close a lot of distances in our world between us and our goals, or the people we want to connect to, or maybe things that we are looking to invest more of ourselves in. Because the Sun is all about attention, enhancement, support, and growth, you might also notice that there are a lot of transformations going on around you, socially and environmentally, to become more accommodating to what is the best personal fit for you, while also actually highlighting and beginning an elimination process of a lot of to-dos and involvements that have proven to be antithetical, caustic, or even holding you back in some way. Mercury here is also going to be helping you to build on some deeper intellectual rapports with your most important people. And Venus is turning you into a love and affection and popularity magnet. Whether these are things you want to, whether it's about you personally or something that you want to draw special attention to, Venus is also making it so. We also have a new moon in this part of your chart on the 6th of the month, which is your once-a-year birthday new moon. And so starting on the 6th, we have this 2-week window period where anything that you are looking to establish a new beginning, a new commitment, a new fresh start with is going to have its best chance. You want to make sure that you're going out and doing the work when this shows up. Now, what do you want to begin? What do you want to have be a new normal in your life is the question here, right? It's the genie in a bottle. You are responsible for knowing how to make your own wish. But with a new moon in the first house, in that 2-week window period following, really take some time. What is it you are looking to add to your life or maneuver yourself into or move yourself to, because this is going to be a big help. Are you looking for, to manifest more wealth? Are you looking for a new job, new relationships, more friends? Are you looking to travel? Are you looking to maybe get something established on a personal or professional level? A new moon in your sign means a brilliant new start and a clean slate that you've got to be ready to take on. We also have Mars going into Taurus on the 9th of the month, where he's going to be for the duration of June and going on into July. And with Mars in your 12th house of the past, private matters, hidden opportunities, secrets, shortcuts, as well as old businesses that affects the present, Mars is going hard on eliminating a lot of problematic people as well as problematic circumstances that have become regular parts of your life that do need to finally go. Mars in the 12th house is a transit that can be kind of seen as a cleanup crew, so to speak, especially when it comes to eliminating problems or situations that just won't go away, or just won't end, or just won't die, or just won't fall. And things that could be anchoring us to the past or to an arrangement, a normal, a reality, a timeline, whatever, that has fossilized and isn't really growing anymore, but isn't going away. Now, this could be something personal, this could be something relating to the distant past, this could be something relating to family, or this could just be a number of different situations that seem to be kind of piling up. But with Mars in the 12th house, it's time for a clearing. The second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury moving on into the sign of Cancer, which is your second house of income, employment, values, valuables, and security. And you're getting really hooked up here because the Sun in the second house is all about you coming into an opportunity to get more value for what you bring to the workforce, whether this is an organization you work for or something else you've got going on. Venus here is turning you into a money magnet and a favor magnet, and Mercury is speeding up the rate with which you are climbing the professional ladder, as well as how fast you are accumulating wealth. With all three of these together in your second house, the very landscape of your professional world is going to be going through a great deal of fast transformations, whether it's on the maybe more administrative level or on the social level or just on the workforce level in general. But these transformations throughout the second half of June and going on into early July are going to favor you heavily. We also have a full moon in Capricorn on the 21st. This is in your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, self-employment earnings, and even sexuality. And when we have a full moon in the 8th house, this is a time where a lot of you are getting a chance to break free from a lot of financial arrangements, financial agreements, debts, and obligations that bind you to something that has been controlling to a certain extent your mobility in life. Now, this could be the elimination of something that has been taking all of our money, something that could be tied up to an old goal, an old plan, an old endeavor, or something that is proving to be a hole in the bucket, kind of dripping out of your life, your money, or keeping you from being able to move forward there. But this is also a full moon where a lot of other limitations are getting eliminated as well on the intimate and romantic side of things. A full moon in the 8th house can actually get quite hot. And a lot of you Gemini people are likely going to be enjoying a very frisky 2-week period following when it comes to all things romantic and bedroom-oriented. And this could be a time where even some very important boundaries in relationships, and some very important arrangements in relationships get redefined to facilitate that intimacy being, made part of the normal versus maybe just being an indulgence. Finally, we've got Saturn turning retrograde in the sign of Pisces, which is taking place on the 29th. And Saturn in the 10th house, when direct, imposes a lot of limitations, restrictions. It is the planet, of course, of discipline, maturity, and karma, after all. But it can sometimes put us in a space where the feelings of our progress and our growth in our career, upward mobility, opportunities for raises and transfers, it's almost like there's a lot of limitation there. There's a lot of scarcity there. With Saturn turning retrograde, however, from the 29th all the way up through the 15th, we see a bit of a recess, a bit of a relaxation from a lot of oppressive agreements and, again, a lot of those limitations, which is kind of creating not only a catch-up opportunity, but a get-ahead opportunity when it comes to you being able to maybe make an important career or vocational jump as we go through the coming months. So that is what we've got for you. I hope you found this helpful, Gemini. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, all of my Cancer people out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what's going on with your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder, if you like weekly astrological updates, might want to come back on a weekly basis. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com. So what's going on when it comes to your June? June is nicely split into very nice organized halves. And so I think it's going to be a fairly orderly month for everybody. The first half of the month, we've got the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in the sign of Gemini. Your 12th house of the past, private matters, hidden opportunities, secrets, shortcuts, and old business as it affects the present. And when we have the Sun in the 12th house, this is a time where you're getting an opportunity to breathe life into things in your life that have become a bit stagnant or have been going without. The Sun in the 12th house is also a beautiful time for getting a chance to clear away any kind of old issues, limitations, or challenges that maybe have been working against you, either up in front of your face or behind the scenes, that have been preventing you from making any kind of big choice moves on your path. And so a lot of things that have been hidden, both helpful and not so helpful, that maybe you need answers with, maybe things that you've been needing solutions for, solving mysteries, all of that. The Sun in the 12th house is going to be a beautiful asset to you this first half of June. Mercury is also going to be providing you with a lot of really cool shortcut opportunities and secret information that you can put to your advantage, especially when it comes to maneuvering around situations that might seem like they're going to take too long to pay off, or things where you maybe feel like you've hit a bit of a dead end. Secret opportunities could indicate secret professional opportunities, secret financial opportunities, information that's going on behind the scenes with other people that line up to hook you up in very cool ways. And Venus in the 12th house is also going to provide you with opportunities to be the recipient of a lot of special gifts and special favors that could be private for, benefits for you and you alone. And again, this is going to be lifting you up both personally and professionally. This is also a time where a lot of you may be getting a chance to enjoy some private romantic opportunities, things that could be getting you away from your everyday, whether it's you and a partner deciding to, go on a bit of an adventure without everybody else in your business, or maybe even secret opportunities to entertain new romantic roads. We also have a new moon in this part of your chart, which is going to be your once a year resurrection moon. When we have a new moon in the 12th house, this is where something old that was very dear to us, whether it's an old path, an old aspect of ourselves, an old goal, or maybe even an old connection, is getting a chance to have new life breathed into it. And in the 2-week window period following the 6th, a lot of you are going to see something getting a chance to come back to life or come back on the table, right? New moon, new beginnings, fresh starts, new commitments, but in the area that rules the past, it's a new beginning for something old. We also have Mars entering the sign of Taurus on the 9th, your 11th house of friendships, your support system, and community. And Mars will be there from the 9th going well on into July. Mars in the 11th house is also a placement where we see a lot of people really showing up for us. People showing us their true blue value as far as our friends and our support system is concerned. In fact, with Mars in the 11th house, people are going to be kind of going out of their way to help you with a lot of battles that you've been fighting all by yourself. You might also notice a lot of teams and a lot of communities that you're connected to becoming a lot tighter, a lot stronger, a lot more loyal, devoted, and generous with each other. However, Mars in the 11th house also has another side to it. There can be a weeding out experience, and some of you may also be going through some serious social pruning during this month, because Mars will expose and repel the fair weather friendships, the frenemies, the wolves in sheep's clothing, and also do a number on a lot of joint pursuits or joint ventures that could be seen as costly or even plastic, fake, artificial, shallow, superficial. Because Mars is the warrior planet. Mars wants only the true blue friends who would die for each other, not really interested in the shallow plastic stuff. And so that's also going to be a big theme of the 9th onward of June. In the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury moving on into your sign. So there's sort of a triple wildcard blessing going on for you, and that's also going to be an aspect that runs into the first week or so of July. And so the Sun in your sign is all about attention, enhancement, and support for you by making a lot of changes that could be overdue as it relates to how your environments that you frequent or the environments you most usually entertain function. Now, this could be the home, this could be the office, this could be wherever. But with the Sun in your sign, you're becoming a lot more well-known, you're becoming a lot better taken care of by these environments, not just the people there, but also the ways in which they work. Venus is turning you into a love, attention, and affection magnet, and you might also be the recipient of a lot of very important gifts. These gifts could be things that are material, or these could be gifts that are gestures and favors themselves, help from other people going out of their way for you. And with Mercury in your sign, this is also a time where a lot of you are getting a chance to close the distance between yourself and very important goals, big moves, big jumps, or even important connections that you have maybe been distanced from or have felt like you've fallen behind in your progress towards attaining or reaching. And so the second half of the month is going to be very, very busy for you. On the 21st, we have a full moon in Capricorn, which is your 7th house of partnerships and closest one-on-one connections, right? You always hear me say this is the area that talks about the boyfriend, girlfriend, the BFF, the business partner, the husband, wife, the roommate, all the people you have your most involved, closest one-on-one connections with. And a full moon in the 7th house is a bit of a game changer here. And in the 2 weeks following the 21st, a lot of stages are going to be progressing. This is a time where statuses change. This is where relationship arrangements change. This is where commitments change. Business alliances kind of maneuver onto different roads or different paths. A full moon can also indicate closing up a story in one or possibly more closely involved one-on-one connections. But with a full moon here, it's important because we are wrapping up, again, a stage or a status that we are all now being pushed to grow out of and move on away from. And finally, we've got Saturn turning retrograde in the sign of Pisces on the 29th of the month. And this is a longer term transit, right? Saturn retrograde goes on for a while, all the way up until mid-November. And so for you, this is taking place in your 9th house of expansion, growth, big moves, big travel opportunities, long distance connections, government and legal matters, and even your spiritual path and practice. Now with Saturn direct here, which he's at the time of me recording this video is exactly what he's doing. But with Saturn direct in the 9th house, we can kind of feel limited in our freedom of mobility, our freedom of movement. Paperwork, big to-dos, big contracts, big agreements, rules tend to be restricting us in a big way, and we might be kind of at the mercy of what we are attached to on the other side of those agreements. And this can be difficult to work with, especially if you are looking to do a lot of traveling, if you're looking to make any big moves, if you're working on a long distance connection, whether it's something personal or professional, or you're trying to maybe close up, complete, or advance a government or legal proceeding. But luckily, with Saturn turning retrograde on the 29th, and will be that way for quite some time, those restrictions, those boundaries, those limitations are going to relax quite a lot. And you may find that a lot of things that are overdue for commencement are finally getting underway. So that is what I've got for you Cancerian folks out there. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and should you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, all of my Leo people out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder, if you enjoy weekly astrological updates, you better come back on a weekly basis. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, all you need to do is go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. So what's going on when it comes to your June? Well, in the start of the month, for the first half of the month, we've got the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in the sign of Gemini, which is your 11th house of friendships and community, your support system. And this is a time where a lot of you Leo people are really branching out, both in your personal world and your professional world. The Sun in your 11th house is all about bringing in a new sense of aliveness to your social connections and to your people, whether they are friends, partners, family members, it doesn't matter. Because relationships are going to be of tremendous importance this month in all respects. With the Sun in your 11th house, this is also a time where you may be finding that people are starting to get more engaged, get more active with you, a lot more inclusion when it comes to group activities as well as professional opportunities. And Mercury here is pulling people a lot closer to you, both close connections and long distance connections, in order to speed up your growth and your progress, with things that you have been maybe trying to do by yourself, but would do better to be a team player with. Mercury in the 11th house is also going to be helping you open up new lines of communication, attract a lot of new friends into your world that are going to help smooth a lot of complicated things in your life, or maybe even help you solve mysteries or puzzles that could do very well with some extra help. The train is definitely affirming me there. Mercury in the 11th house can also indicate, yes, an opportunity for travel and for a lot of opportunities for you to be able to actually speed up the accomplishment of some kind of big lifelong goal or some kind of major goal or priority you began this year with. But it will be with the help of your friends. We also have Venus here making your love life a lot more adventurous, a lot more socially active, attracting support systems for your romantic pursuits and your romantic connections. So this could be lifting up a partnership, or even a lot of you who are looking for new love may find love through a community connection or a friend that you know. But with this, it's important to understand it's about being a lot more outgoing, both if you're, coupled or you are single, because even coupled Leo people are going to find that this is bringing in new excitement and a lot of new romantic and erotic stimulation through adventure. We also have a new moon in this part of your chart on the 6th, which is indicating at least one, if not more, special new connection or friendship that is going to be added to your life sometime on or around the 6th and during that 2-week window period following. This is likely going to be either evolving a present connection, a present friendship into something more substantial, or again, bringing in somebody brand new. We also have Mars entering Taurus on the 9th of the month. This is your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, station, promotions, and raises. And Mars in the 10th house is one of the more competitive transits that we have. And from the 9th going well into July, you are going to be finding that you are making tremendous progress when it comes to overcoming a lot of glass ceilings or maybe locked doors or obstacles that have put in your way, that have been put in your way when it comes to advancing yourself and your career. However, Mars in the 10th house, very similarly to Mars in the 2nd house, can also indicate a time where we are getting a chance to make a lot of money, but we need to be ready to get more involved. This is not the transit for the lazy yet desiring status type of person. This is a transit that's really more for the dedicated and passionate worker, dedicated and passionate professional, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities for big raises and big boosts to your reputation, but you got to be there. In the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury moving into the sign of Cancer, which is your 12th house of the past, private matters, hidden opportunities, secrets, shortcuts, and old business as it affects the present. And with the Sun here, we are actually seeing some old paths, some old journeys, or old wishes and desires that maybe we lost touch with, or aspects of ourselves or things that we used to pursue, getting a chance to have a little bit of fresh energy and new life brought back into them. These could be old wishes, old goals, that kind of thing. We also have Mercury here providing you with a lot of really good secrets and shortcuts, as well as maybe even hookups that are coming to you in all kinds of roundabout ways. And again, this is going to affect your professional life as well as your personal life. And this could also be a time where you find some special shortcuts to maybe move yourself ahead or advance something that you care about that has been progressing a little bit too slow for your tastes. And this shortcut will be genuine, and it will be able to, move something up in terms of, its priority and its placement on your calendar. And Venus is also going to be transforming your love life a little bit into something a little bit more private, but also something that is a lot more deeply intimate. Venus in the 12th house has us taking a trip down memory lane in a lot of respects. Now, this could be you and a partner deciding to maybe revive some old activities, some old pleasures, or maybe explore some old love languages or old relationship pursuits. And some of you who are single or are available to new people may find yourself in a circumstance where you get a chance to maybe even try an old relationship type on for size, whether it's a person from the past or somebody that is reminiscent of that connection. We have a full moon in Capricorn on the 21st. And this is taking place in your 6th house of work and reputation, your schedule, your lifestyle, as well as what you provide to the world, right? The services you do for your community and what you get back for what you contribute to your community. And again, reputation and community is a huge theme of this month for you. So a full moon in the 6th house on the 21st and for the 2 weeks following is changing your standing in the world. You may be finding that there are opportunities to maneuver into community setups or to work setups that are a lot more favorable to who you are right now versus maybe things that you've been stuck in that bind you to the past, as well as also a transformation to the way you are received by other people and how you are treated and valued by other people. And finally, we've got Saturn turning retrograde in the sign of Pisces, your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, self-employment earnings, and anything that could connect with what you share with partners, business partners, romantic partners. And this is also an area that rules sexuality. Now, with Saturn direct here, as he's been this last short while, there's been a lot of limitations imposed on what is and is not allowed to happen in this part of your chart. Saturn is, of course, all about boundaries, discipline, maturity, and karma. And so sometimes it can be hard to find the wiggle room. It can be hard to maneuver ourselves, or we may be finding a lot of walls or things that kind of keep us stuck in place. Things can feel almost like they're becoming a bit stagnant. Well, luckily, with Saturn turning retrograde on the 29th and staying so all the way up until mid-November, a lot of those limitations and a lot of those restrictions are relaxing. And so if you've been feeling like those have become a bit of a hamper in your life, this is going to be a welcome relief. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and if you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, all of my Virgo people out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, if you are interested in weekly astrological updates, might want to subscribe and come back on a weekly basis because I do that here too. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. So what's going on when it comes to your June? Well, the first half of the month, we've got gold for you. We've got the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in the sign of Gemini, your 10th house of career, status, upward mobility, raises, and promotions. And with the Sun here, things are really moving in your favor. The Sun in the 10th house is all about you getting a lot of attention, enhancement, and support that's going to facilitate fast growth and sustainable growth when it comes to your earning power, as well as your ability to make a name for yourself in your career, in your vocation. Now, with the Sun here, this could also be a time where you notice a lot of environmental changes going on in your workforce as well. Things that are kind of changing the landscape, changing the scenery to be a lot more accommodating and gainful for you as well. And we have Mercury speeding up your growth when it comes to aggregation, anything where you are trying to accumulate more interest in yourself or what you have going on. If you're trying to bring in more customers, get more hours, or maybe just speed up your climb towards a particular professional goal or up a professional ladder, this is going to be a beautiful first 2 weeks of the month for you. This is also a time with Mercury where you may be getting a chance to speed up something that you have been trying to work on as it relates to maybe a personal goal that is dependent on career growth. And they're going to be working a lot more together than they have before. Venus here is also making you very popular. You're going to become a lot more sort of the it kid when it comes to your work life. And Venus could be putting the spotlight on you and helping to not only boost your reputation, but also give you a bit of fame as it relates to life at the office or life in your vocation or in your career, big business, and all of that good stuff. Venus is also going to be helping to give you a chance to make some big scores without having to do a whole lot more extra work than you already do. And we also have a new moon in this part of your chart on the 6th, which is opening up a 2-week window period for a lot of you to get a new stride, right? New moons are all about new commitments, fresh starts, and new beginnings. And so this could indicate a new role, a new job, a new position, or just sort of a new status for you to step into as we go through into mid-June. And this is likely something that is going to have some powerful ripple effects on how you work, who you work with, and of course, where you are in terms of your status and material comforts as we go on into July. We also have Mars entering Taurus on the 9th of the month, and this is your 9th house of expansion, growth, big moves, big travel opportunities, long-distance connections, government and legal matters, as well as your spiritual path and practice. And whenever we have Mars go into the 9th house, this is a time where we are getting a chance to eliminate a lot of adversarial influences that we have been maybe forced to live with or accommodate as it relates to these matters. Now, these adversarial influences could be people, they could be systems, they could be contracts and agreements. These could also be limitations or compromises that we may or may not have agreed to or arranged earlier in our lives as well. But Mars in the 9th house is all about breaking it all anyway. It's kind of, running through the china shop like a bull, smashing everything to bits. With Mars in the 9th house, this is also a time where a lot of you could be benefiting from long-distance connections, personally and professionally, or you may be finding that an ally or a friend may be stepping up for you and helping you to maneuver something in a much more supported and much more successful direction that maybe has been going in circles or working against itself in your life. In the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all moving into the sign of Cancer, which is your 11th house of friendships and your support system, community. And with the Sun here, this is all about making stronger bonds, bringing people closer together, as well as also helping you to have the strongest support system possible. With the Sun, there's always going to be an opportunity to bring in healing, more levity, lightness, and just a nice sense of wholesome simplicity to your social life and your support system, and also, again, continue to attract more to it. Venus here is going to be bringing a new kind of aliveness to your love life, especially when it comes to having a more outgoing relationship or more outgoing couple. So you may be attracting a support system for your relationship, so not just you, but also you and your partner. Or if you are single or available to new people, this could indicate an opportunity to meet new love or get a new relationship going through a community or a friendship that you already have. And with Mercury here, this is also going to be a time where closing the distance between you and important social connections is going to be very much a strong theme, not just for the second half of June, but also going on into early July. We also have a full moon in Capricorn on the 21st of the month. This is your 5th house of romance, recreation, creativity, your relationships with your children, parenthood in general, as well as personal enterprises. And so a full moon marks the turning of a page, the changing of a chapter. And when we have this go on in the 5th house, a lot of you may be finding that there are some direction changes or some status changes in order following the 21st. Some of you may find that relationships are starting to go down new roads, or this could be the end of a cycle or the end of a chapter or a stage in your relationship status that is coming up to be maybe switched out for a different journey or a different story. This could also indicate a relationship goal or a relationship destination change, and also the opportunity to connect with your kids in a more substantial way. This is, however, also going to be a time where a lot of business that might not be serving your most important relationships, whether it's with your partner or a partner intended, maybe a new person or one of your kids or a creative collaborator, will also be coming up to be cleared. And finally, we have Saturn turning retrograde in the sign of Pisces, your 7th house of partnerships. So this is your closest one-on-one connections, right? I always say the boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all the people you have your most involved one-on-one connections with and joint ventures and arrangements with. Now with Saturn direct here, as he has been this last while, a lot of restrictions, holdups, limitations have been kind of thrown up in some of these connections. Maybe it's not been in the connection themselves, but it might be in the goal or the movement or the productivity or the advancement of those connections or something they're working towards. And sometimes, though, yes, Saturn in the 7th house can also challenge important connections or one-on-one connections in order for them to mature and all parties involved to mature out of what they've been. Now, with Saturn going retrograde, however, while, again, we do need to work on those things if we need to, Saturn retrograde is going to be relaxing a lot of those limitations or a lot of those issues or a lot of those challenges that may have been coming up over the course of the last few months, kind of getting out of your way in a lot of senses. So whether it's getting out of your way in terms of the attainment of a different kind of relationship status, getting out of the way when it comes to a relationship goal, getting out of the way when it comes to a business partnership, growing and becoming more prosperous. That is what Saturn retrograde is going to be all about. And luckily for you, that's going to be a theme all the way up until the 15th of November. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and should you ever wish to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, all my Libra people out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder, if you enjoy weekly astrological updates, might want to come back on a weekly basis, so hit that subscribe button. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. So what is going on when it comes to your June? Well, we start off with a cluster in your 9th house of expansion, big growth, big moves, big travel opportunities, long distance connections, as well as government or legal proceedings, and even your spiritual path and practice. And this cluster is comprised of the Sun, Mercury, and Venus, all in Gemini, all in that 9th house. And this is going to, kick off a 2-week period, the first half of the month, where a lot of things that have been waiting for launches or maybe even failing to launch are going to start getting on the move for you. Mercury in the 9th house is all about speeding up productivity, but also speeding up gratification with big projects, important communications, as well as the completion and finalization of a lot of very wide governing contracts and commitments. And this is also a time where a lot of you could be getting a lot of travel opportunities or transfer opportunities or move opportunities really moving. We've also got the Sun here bringing a lot of attention and enhancement and support to all of your going-ons. We could look at that as, long distance communications, both professionally and socially, really hooking you up. The sun in the 9th house is also a great time for drawing in support and attention for things that you would like to see grow and expand and flourish, whether it is in your personal life or maybe having to do with your career or with business. And Venus here is also opening up the floodgates when it comes to your love life. Things tend to get a little bit more adventurous, a bit more outgoing, a bit more ambitious. This is also Venus in the 9th house, having partners or partner opportunities take us down roads less traveled. We might notice partners becoming a lot more adventurous, wanting to get out of their bubble, out of their rut, go exploring. You are also going to find that you are attracting opportunities to get out of your comfort zone with partners, bond more closely because of that more adventurous activity. And for those of you who are single or available to new people, you're likely going to be getting a lot of luck when it comes to attracting partnership opportunities that might have a bit of a foreignness to them when it comes to how you might relate, right? Partners from different backgrounds, partners from outside of your bubble as well. And we also have a new moon here on the 6th, which is all about getting a chance to give yourself a big launch. A new moon in the 9th house can bring in a lot of new important long-distance connections, as well as even close the gap between you and a very important goal or accomplishment that you are looking to accomplish this year. This could involve some kind of big agreement, big contract or commitment, something that could even facilitate a big move, either a literal physical move or maybe a career move, a vocation move, or something going on that, again, greater connects you to the big wide world. And this is going to be occurring, because this new moon will be opening up a window period to get all of those conversations stimulated between the 6th and the 2 weeks following the 6th. We also have Mars entering Taurus on the 9th of the month, and this is going to be your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, self-employment earnings, as well as anything that you may share with partners, be they romantic partners or business partners, as far as their income or their contributions to the unit is concerned. Now, with Mars in the 8th house, this is also going to bring in a lot more intense romantic activity into your life, not just for June, but also going into July, because this is where we get to enjoy getting a bit more wild, a bit more feisty, a bit more carnal. Mars in the 8th house tends to get everybody to drop their armor, in a sense, get people to be a little bit more courageous, a bit more bold. And this is also a time where you are noticing you are getting a lot of competitive wins when it comes to your earning power, especially when it comes to monies that are not linked to maybe more of a fixed salary or hourly income. So, bonus opportunities galore. In the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury moving on into the sign of Cancer, which is your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, station, promotions, and raises. And so the Sun here is going to be really working over your work environment, your career, your vocation, as well as any kind of spaces that you share with others to be more accommodating for your growth, for your upward mobility. Venus is also going to be making you a popularity and favor magnet when it comes to all things relating to your career. You might be attracting better business, also better collaborators, stronger professional relationships with colleagues and authority figures. And with Venus here, there's also a sense of becoming a bit of a wealth and opportunity magnet. And Mercury here is also going to be speeding up your climb, your professional ascent, as it were, because you are also getting a chance to get more exposure where you need it. Mercury is all about haste, communication, speed, productivity, and climbs up the professional ladder, as well as the attainment of maybe even a new role, definitely going to be on the table as we go through the second half of June and on into early July. We've got a full moon in Capricorn on the 21st of June. And so this is landing in your 4th house of home, family, living situation, home economy. And this is a great time. It's opening up a wonderful window in the back end of June and even the front half of July for a lot of you who have been looking to make some kind of big shift or big transition as it relates to your home environment. Whether these are things you're trying to do around where you are presently, it's great for any Libras out there that are looking to house hunt or make some kind of shift in terms of a household arrangement. This could also be very beneficial for a lot of you that are looking to maybe close the books or close up old business as it relates to home economy, as well as even maybe family stuff that could have followed you, or old family business, old family stories that could still be exerting an influence over your life in the present. And finally, we wrap up with another outer planet turning retrograde. This time it is Saturn, which will be turning retrograde in Pisces on the 29th and staying retrograde there all the way up until the 15th of November. So again, outer planet, long-term retrograde motion. This is your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, and anything that connects you to your professional community as well as your personal community, your lifestyle, what you contribute to the world, and what you get back for what you contribute. With Saturn in the 6th house when direct, as he's been for a good while, a lot of you Libra people may have been feeling like you're slipping through the cracks, right? Saturn is the planet of limitations, restrictions, maturity, but also discipline and even karma to a certain degree. And so you may have been finding that it's really hard to make any headway with getting into the perfect Goldilocks fit as it relates to an element of a job or a standing you want to have in your community, personal or professional. With Saturn turning retrograde, a lot of those limitations, a lot of those blocks or stalls are going to relax. And so if you've been feeling like there's just not been a lot of space or help when it comes to maneuvering yourself into the lanes of the roads that you have wanted to in these areas, June 29th through November 15th is going to be a breath of fresh air for you. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and should you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, all of my Scorpio people out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick heads up for those of you who enjoy weekly astrological updates, you may want to come back on a weekly basis, so hit that subscribe button. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. This month, the start of the month, we've got a cluster in Gemini, your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, bonus monies, and anything that you may share with others, such as business partners or romantic partners. And that cluster is comprised of the Sun, Mercury, and Venus here, doing a bit of an overhaul the first 2 weeks of the month on all areas related to this part of your chart. When we have Mercury in the 8th house, this is a time where you are going to be able to accumulate a lot of wealth through side projects, special bonuses, or again, monies that you may share with other people all the more quickly. Mercury in the 8th house is absolutely fantastic, especially if you are looking to boost passive or supplemental income, or take on extra work, take on extra jobs in order to rake in more money fast. This is also a time where a lot of shared income streams are also going to be going through a bit of a boost, thanks to the sun being there, bringing all that attention, enhancement, support, and growth. You may also find that if you do have your own business, or you have a side hustle, or your own personal investments that you're working on for yourself or for others, they're going to be going through a nice and lovely lift during this first 2 weeks, which may prompt you to need to be ready to change how you prioritize them, change how you treat them to maximize your gains there. And Venus in the 8th house is all about bringing in more romance, more sweetness, more connectivity into your personal life. Venus in the 8th house can also indicate A lot of opportunities for you to discover or explore what we could consider brand new romantic or intimate languages, intimate communications with a partner, or even draw in partners that are bringing that to the table for you if you are single or are available to new people. A new moon in this part of your chart on the 6th is opening up a 2-week window period following the 6th, where a lot of you are also going to get some kind of win in the form of a bonus something. Now, this could be a bonus chunk of money. This could be the spawning of a new income stream, or there may even be some good news going on with a partner, be it a romantic partner or a business partner or business ally, about their win, where you still actually get something out of it, kind of a what's good for the goose is good for the gander kind of experience. We have Mars moving on into Taurus on the 9th of June, where he's going to be from the 9th going well on into July. This is your 7th house of partnerships and closest one-on-one connections. And you've probably heard me say before, this is the area that rules the boyfriend, girlfriend, the BFF, the business partner, the husband, wife, the roommate, all the people you have your closest one-on-one connections with. Now, with Mars in the 7th house, this is all about making the best partnerships, the best close friendships, the best relationships possible by tearing down a lot of walls, tearing down barriers. Now, this could be tearing down barriers between people. This could be tearing down barriers between us and maybe our partnership or our friendship or our relationship and a joint goal or a joint venture, a joint aspiration. But with Mars in the 7th house, it's all about getting down to business on making it so. This can, however, be a time where Mars, because it's all about eliminating things that could be getting in our way, Mars could also call attention to things that maybe we have been giving a pass to that we should not, in not only the way we handle relationships, but maybe the way certain relationships, friendships, or connections are operating. This can also call into question maybe some things that need to be questioned that, again, we may have been letting slide, or maybe things that we have not really given the time or the priority to look at. But with Mars in the 7th house, it's just an important reminder that Mars is the warrior planet. So it's all about the strongest bonds, the strongest loyalties, and the health of them all. And so even if conflicts come up or challenges come up, it's a part of that process. In the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury moving together into the sign of Cancer, and they will be there also up into July. So this is your 9th house of expansion, growth, big moves, big travel opportunities, long-distance connections, as well as government and legal proceedings, and even your spiritual path and practice to a certain degree. And when we have all three of these in the 9th house, this is about getting you Scorpio people on the move. The Sun in the 9th house is all about strengthening your long-distance connections, both personal and professional, to be more engaged, to be more supportive, to be more furthering, not only for what you have going on and what you need, but also to help you to, maybe prosper more for what you do with and alongside these people. Mercury here is also going to be helping you to close the distance between yourself and others, whether these are long-distance connections, business ideas, or maybe some of you could be even getting a chance to speed up your progress towards a big move or big travel plan or big maybe wish that you would like to grant for your own social life or your own career. And Venus here is also going to be bringing in a touch of the foreign, the exotic, the experimental, and adventurous into your love life. When we have these three in the 9th house, it's all about getting you out of your bubble, getting you out of a box that you've been put in, helping you to not only, again, grow and further expand yourself. The Sun and Venus in the 9th house can also bring in a lot of popularity, kind of a 15 minutes of fame kind of moment, again, both in your personal life and for your professional life. But we also have Mercury here trying to help expand your sense of territory, your sense of place in the world, and helping to move you and everybody else involved to the best arrangements possible to score with that. We also have a full moon in Capricorn, which is taking place on the 21st. This is your third house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, as well as contracts, but also helpful third parties and allies and hookups. And with a full moon in the third house, on the 21st and for the 2-week window period following, a lot of you Scorpio people are getting a chance to break free from some kind of binding contract, binding agreement, or association that has been anchoring you down, or maybe keeping you on a road or in a space or on a path that has been creating a lot of hell in your life. This is a cut and clear full moon when it lands in the third house. And even things that you've been looking to try to break or escape, but you've encountered resistance with as far as contracts, agreements, and all of that kind of paperwork goes, this full moon is going to be very good to you because that resistance seems to either be gone or ineffective. Finally, we also have Saturn turning retrograde in Pisces, which is going to be starting up on the 29th. And this is another long, outer planet retrograde. So Saturn's going to be retrograde in Pisces from the 29th of June up to the 15th of November. And this is taking place in your 5th house of romance, love, recreation, creativity, personal enterprises, and even parenthood, your relationships with your kids. And with Saturn direct in the 5th house, Saturn can create some challenges, especially when it comes to feeling distanced, isolated, or maybe even cut off from the things that really do bring us pleasure in the world. It could also bring up situations that we do need to address in the way we are carrying on important relationships here, whether they are romantic relationships, relationships with our kids, creative collaborators and allies, and so on. But with Saturn, remember, it's all about discipline, it's all about maturity, problem solving, it's also about limitations, boundaries, and even karma. So a lot of you Scorpio people may have been feeling like this part of your life has been taking on the biggest difficulties this last few months. And whether it's trying to get a new enterprise off the ground, or get into a better relationship with one of your kids, or have a new romantic relationship, or even connect in a more intimate way with a partner, Saturn may have been raising up some issues for you. But the good news is, once Saturn turns retrograde, a lot of that is going to be very much relaxed. A lot of those limitations, those boundaries, those hurdles start to, take a step back, right? We go on a bit of a recess. And so I think it's going to be a nice break for a lot of you. So that is what I've got as far as your astrology for June is concerned, Scorpio. I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, all of my Sagittarius folk out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what's going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder, if you enjoy weekly astrological updates, you might want to come back on a weekly basis, because I do weeklies. And of course, if you ever want to get a personal session with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. So what's going on when it comes to your June? Well, at the start of the month and for the first half of the month, we've got the Sun, Mercury, and Venus working all together in the sign of Gemini, which is your 7th house of partnerships and closest one-on-one connections and involvements and joint ventures. You've probably heard me say before, this is the area that rules the boyfriend, girlfriend, the BFF, the business partner, the husband, wife, the roommate, again, all of your most involved and closest one-on-one connections. And with the Sun here, this is going to be focusing a lot on bringing in new simplicity, new wholesome love, new play, new levity, new lightness to situations that may have become overcomplicated or too prone to issues, or too prone to volatility, or too prone to complications in your closest one-on-one connections. So if there are things that need to be kind of lightened up or cleared away, This is great. If we're just looking to bring in more fun, if we're just looking to bring in more bonding activities, if we're just looking to become better friends with each other, this is absolutely the transit for you. In fact, with the Sun, it's all about making people tighter together, whether we are, friends or roommates or business partners or romantic partners. We all need to be good, invested friends on top of all of that stuff, right? That's what makes things work. That's what makes things last. And this is going to be, kind of putting these connections through the treatment, to help you out with that. Venus, of course, is going to be bringing in a lot more pleasure to your personal connections as well. Venus in the 7th house tends to turn us into a bit of a love magnet, especially when it comes to attracting new partner potentials, new commitment potentials. But Venus is also bringing in more sweetness and generosity to all of your close one-on-one connections. You may be noticing best friends and partners and business partners and so on also becoming a lot more affectionate, and also getting a chance to maybe attract a great deal of support to any kind of joint ventures, whether it's material support, financial support, it's all there. And Mercury is going to be speeding up progress towards the accomplishment of a lot of joint venture goals or relationship goals, partnership goals, and alliance goals. In fact, with all of these three together, it's likely a lot of relationships are going to come out at the end of June looking a whole lot different for it. We also have a new moon in this part of your chart on the 6th, and that opens up a 2-week window period for some kind of fresh start, new beginning, new commitment, or new story, either for an existing connection or relationship, or possibly the arrival of somebody new that can go the distance in one of these capacities, coming into your space, coming into your world as we go into mid-June during that window period. And we also have Mars entering Taurus on June 9th. Now, this is Mars going into your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, anything relating to the communities that you're a part of, both professional and personal. This is your lifestyle. This is what you provide to the world and what you get back from the world for what you give. So when Mars goes into the 6th house, this is definitely working over a lot of professional relationships and reputation and, of course, your standing in the world. So it's kind of playing off a lot of that, Sun, Mercury, Venus, and New Moon in Gemini energy as well. With Mars in the 6th house, you are going to find that you are going to be first pick for a lot of competitive wins, a lot of competitive opportunities that could raise your standing. Now, this could be something going on the job, competitive projects, competitive roles, competitive offers and proposals, or maybe this could be something, again, going on in your social life, just, something that you're very committed to, or a group or a team you're a part of. With Mars, however, in the 6th house, you are going to need to be ready to budget extra time to get more involved. Mars is a demanding warrior planet. He gives a lot of love to those who are willing to do the work. He kind of spits on the hands that are just waiting for a handout. But with Mars in the 6th house, a lot of you could be raking in a lot of dough as well, because this is also one of the overtime, extra work, financial boost transits as well. And it's not just for June, it's also in July. In the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all moving together into the sign of Cancer, which is your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, self-employment earnings, as well as anything that you may share with partners, whether they're business partners or romantic partners, as far as finances and material resources is concerned. Now, with the Sun being here, this is all about getting more out of what you have. You may be finding that a lot of income streams that connect to these areas of your life are going through a bit of a boost, whether it's maybe partner income increasing, your side business's income is increasing, bonus opportunities coming out of seemingly everywhere. And this is also a time where, with the Sun in the 8th house, you're getting a chance to do some really important tackle work on anything that could be considered an issue you want to clear, such as a debt, old financial obligations, old financial ties, and so on. Mercury here is speeding up the rate with which you are accumulating wealth through all avenues that are not a part of a fixed salary or hourly income agreement. And Venus here is also bringing in more bonus, more favors, more boosts to you and partners as well. Venus in the 8th house is also going to be bringing in an opportunity for a lot of you to be able to play with new ways to do relationships, especially when it comes to bedroom stuff. Because with Venus, there is a desire to maybe explore new ways to express love and receive love, and so might make for a pretty neat second half of June as well. At the risk of getting too smutty on a public video like this, I'm just gonna move along so I don't get demonetized, but enjoy it, and that will also be a part of the first half of July as well. We also have a full moon in Capricorn taking place on the 21st, which is your second house of income, employment, values, as well as security. And a full moon in the second house is opening up a 2-week window period between the 21st of June and about the end of week 1 of July, where a lot of you are getting a chance to make a serious jump out of a financial norm or a professional norm, a role or a work arrangement that you're over. That it's stale, it's done, there's no more to go, there's nowhere else to go in that situation. Now, a lot of you may find that this is just kind of changing the roster of who you're working with, or there may be the end of some kind of financial or professional relationship or commitment in favor of something else. Some of you could be finding new jobs, or some of you could be also getting something off your plate in these regards as well. And then we wrap up the month of June with a retrograde. Saturn turning retrograde in the sign of Pisces, your 4th house of home, family, living situation, as well as your home economy or anything relating to your roots. So Saturn has been direct here for some time, and when Saturn goes retrograde, this is going to last a while. Saturn's going to be retrograde in this part of your chart from the 29th of June all the way up until November 15th. When Saturn is direct, that's typically when Saturn is the most challenging. So here's an example of a retrograde being a relief. Saturn direct in the 4th house may have been bringing up some serious agitations when it comes to issues that have gone unaddressed, or things that maybe we've been letting slide or allowing to kind of persist when it comes to family problems and environmental issues, or maybe living situation challenges, because Saturn is not really a bastard in that respect, but he's not a live and let live, especially if that's not really what's going on with regards to the problems anyway. Saturn's the planet of discipline, maturity, boundaries, but also the planet of karma. And so a lot of you may have also been dealing with some challenging family relationships, challenging home economic circumstances, or issues that could have followed you into the present from even childhood. Luckily, Saturn going retrograde is a recess for everybody. And so even blocks that you've been running up against when it comes to things you're trying to do to fix family challenges, move, make some alterations to your home economy, between June 29th and November 15th, that recess, that relaxation of all of those issues, or that pressure from Saturn is definitely going to be helping you do just that. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and should you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's Integrative Mysticism.com. Integrativemysticism.com. I'll see you all later. Hey there, all of my Capricorn people, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder for all of you out there, if you are interested in weekly astrological updates, you definitely want to come back on a weekly basis. So hit that subscribe button, because I do that. And of course, if you ever want to get a personal reading with me, you can always go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com. So what's going on? when it comes to your June? Well, at the start of the month, we've got this brilliant cluster going on in your 6th house of work, reputation, your schedule, standing with your community, your lifestyle, and that is because we've got the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all working together in Gemini. And so when we have these three moving through the 6th house, this is a time where you are getting a chance to make a brand new name for yourself in all of your most important communities and important crowds, be they professional or personal or special interest or whatever. The Sun in your 6th house is giving you a chance to get a lot more power, a lot more prestige, and yes, even reward and profit from associations that you have and teams that you work with and teams that you work on. You may actually find that a lot of environmental changes are going on in workspaces and in community spaces to help all associated with them become all the more prosperous. So it's about being happily in the right place at the right time for maybe a few good scores. We also have Mercury here speeding up your growth, speeding up your progress when it comes to being able to set yourself up for higher positions, maybe even promotions or big jumps, professionally speaking, down the road, likely as we go into probably around September, October. But it doesn't mean you have to wait that long in order to actually make the jumps, take the jumps, or make the moves. In fact, Mercury here is also going to be speeding up how fast money is coming your way through your job, through your associations, and again, any community involvements that you have that do bring you wealth. And this can also be a great time for big business to find you or for you to step into a lot of big business opportunities for yourself. Venus in your 6th house is also indicating a lot of community changes and community hookups are also getting magnetized your way. And so this could indicate a boost to your popularity, as Venus is all about the popularity. And this can also be a great time for love and a great time for romance, especially if you have been looking to maybe get more grounded, more organized, or more stable in a relationship or a relationship goal or relationship journey that has kind of been flying by the seat of its pants. This can also be a great time for a lot of you who are looking for a new love to maybe find love through some kind of group or community or maybe work situation that you are associated with, or possibly even something associated with the new potential partner. And existing relationships are also going to be going through a bit of a boost here because a lot of opportunities to team up with our partner on big projects and big pursuits will be bonding us all the more. On the 6th, we've got a new moon in this part of your chart. And so from the 6th and the 2 weeks following, this new moon in Gemini is going to be opening you up for an opportunity to change a lot of roles that you have been occupying in your life. Now, these could be roles that you perform for other people, roles that you perform in your community or in a community that you're a part of. But what this does is this also changes your reputation, changes your social clout, gives you an opportunity to maneuver into maybe bigger ponds and out of ponds that you have gotten too big for. We've got Mars entering Taurus on the 9th of the month, and this is your 5th house of love, romance, recreation, creativity, personal enterprises, parenthood, and your relationships with your kids. And so starting on the 9th, but also going up all the way through the duration of June and even into July, Mars is going really hard on trying to bring the best of the best out of all relationships in these areas of your life. With Mars in the 5th house, this is a great time for a lot of obstacle clearing and block busting, whether it's block busting and problem solving as it relates to maybe issues we may be dealing with a romantic partner, things that we might be tackling together, old issues, or maybe even things that are standing in the way, right? Blocks or closed roads as it relates to getting into a new relationship if you're looking for one. This is also a great time for getting a chance to take down emotional walls and emotional barriers between you and a romantic partner, or even take down emotional or communication walls between you and one of your children, right? Helping to strengthen those relationships as well. And Mars is also going to be helping you to really gain some serious headway when it comes to personal enterprises, things that you might be running, businesses you might be running yourself, or any kind of creative pursuit or creative project for profit or for pleasure that you are looking to get off the ground. In the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury moving into the sign of Cancer, your seventh house of partnerships and closest one-on-one connections. So this is your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all the people you have your most involved and committed one-on-one connections with. And when we have these three together in the seventh house, this is about reshaping the dynamics of a lot of important one-on-one connections that do need to go through a bit of an evolution. Now, the Sun is helping this out by helping to bring in closer connections within our connections. It's kind of a weird way to describe it. Wherever the Sun goes, there's this focus on attention, enhancement, and support. And so this is going to be helping you to become better friends with your closest one-on-one connections, right? Because we do need a strong, solid friendship for things to really last and continue to grow, whether it's becoming real better friends, right? Working on the platonic intimacy, the platonic connection, the intellectual connection between us and our romantic partners, or us and our business partners, us and our best friends, however it goes. But the Sun is bringing in more fun, bonding activities to make it so, right? Really help to gel. And with Mercury here, we're also seeing the speeding up of a lot of accomplishments that maybe have been important goals in joint ventures. So whether these are joint ventures with a partner, a friend, or a business partner, anything that you might be trying to tackle together, there's also the focus on speeding up the accomplishment or the progress towards maybe the attainment or the accomplishment of a very important relationship or partnership goal. And that's not just for this month, that's also a big part of July. Venus here is, of course, bringing in a whole bunch of romantic opportunities for those of you who are single or available as well, but also just bringing in more amorous exchanges with everybody, people being a lot more generous, open, and accepting, but also at the same time honest and forthright with their communication. People are, letting go of their filters when it comes to care and when it comes to love and the expression of love as well. Well, we have a full moon on the 21st in your sign. This is your once-a-year clearing moon. A full moon in our sign gives us the opportunity to make a big jump because of a big elimination, because of a big quit, a big clearing, a big closure. When we have a full moon in our sign, on the 21st and, of course, for the 2 weeks following, it's going to be really important for you Capricorn people to take some time to consider, what is it you want to drop? What do you want to eliminate from your life that you do not want to carry another step, you do not want to carry another day? Because when we have a full moon in our sign, we have a chance to make a great quit, a great departure. So this could be anything. Are you looking to maybe quit, say, for instance, a detrimental habit, or are you looking to end a detrimental connection or a detrimental relationship? Are you looking to move? Are you looking to change jobs? Are you looking to let go of anything that may be exerting a negative influence over you from your environment or even from the past? With a full moon, it's something we get a chance to bail on, and you really want to see what you can do to relieve yourself during that period. And finally, we have Saturn, your ruling planet, turning retrograde in the sign of Pisces on the 29th. Now, this is going to be a long-term retrograde because all outer planets are long-term retrogrades. And so from the 29th of June all the way up until the 15th of November. And so this is your third house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, contracts, allies, helpful third parties, and even hookups. And when we have Saturn direct here, which is what he's been doing for the last few months, you might have been noticing a lot of obstacles or a lot of slowdowns, a lot of pressure, or complications coming up in these areas, especially when it comes to dealing with restrictions. Saturn has a tendency to, of course, be there to enforce maturity, but through boundaries, discipline, limitations, and restrictions, and because it's the planet of karma. And so it might be that a lot of this last, few months, you've been struggling with certain agreements or contracts, things that maybe were imposed on you, maybe even things that you got into yourself of your own accord, that have been creating problems in your life that should not be the way they are. Or maybe you've been noticing some blockages or some halts when it comes to connecting with people, drawing allies closer, or receiving help from helpful third parties, and so on. Well, Saturn turning retrograde on the 29th is going to be a bit of a relief for everybody, because when he does, a lot of those limitations, blocks, or obstacles or restrictions tend to relax, become more pliable, become more malleable. And so between June 29th and November 15th, you're going to get a chance to clear a lot of those difficulties while Saturn is in recess. And there is your June, Capricorn. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and should you ever wish to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, all of my Aquarius people out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder, if you like weekly astrological updates, hit that subscribe button and come back on a weekly basis, because that's part of my weekly routine. And if you ever want to get a private reading with me, you can always go on ahead to my website, integrativemysticism.com. So what is going on when it comes to your month? At the start of the month, we've got the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all together in the sign of Gemini, your fifth house of love, romance, recreation, creativity, parenthood, and your relationships with your kids. And so this is going to be setting you up for a bit of an exhilarating month in all of your most involved personal relationships, but it's also bringing in a lot of fun, a lot of pleasure, and a lot of sweetness at the same time. The Sun in your fifth house is all about putting you in the best position to have a lot more fun with romantic partners, as well as a lot more fun with your kids. The Sun, whenever it's in an interpersonal space like this, wants to work on the bonds, wants to make tighter bonds, stronger bonds with people. And this is also going to be a very helpful transit, especially if you've been feeling like maybe we've kind of lost our way in a certain romantic priority, or maybe we're kind of struggling to relate to our kids, or we're struggling to relate with a relationship goal. The Sun is going to be helping to clear a lot of clouds, a lot of confusion, as well as a lot of nebulosity out of those situations, but also bringing in a fair share of sweet, wholesome simplicity, making everybody all the more comfortable and, again, better bonded. Mercury here is going to be speeding up the progress that you are making with any kind of creative projects or personal enterprises that you're trying to get off the ground, as well as attract a lot of support and collaborators your way if that's what you'd like. And Venus is also going to be bringing in even more affection, more generosity. A lot of you who are single or available to new people may be having your fair share of options show up in the first half of June, and it's a time for a lot of you who are coupled to get a chance to enjoy a bit of a honeymoon phase or a renewal of a honeymoon phase in your relationships as well. On the 6th, we've got a new moon in this part of your chart, which is all about the beginning of a new phase or a new stage in an important connection that you have. A new moon can indicate the opening of a new path, a new commitment, or a new relationship, or a new relationship opportunity that is going to be getting its start in the 2 weeks following the 6th. A lot of you are also going to find that this new moon could be giving you a chance to maybe finally begin something that you've been trying to, bring forth into being in your personal life, whether it's for yourself or for a new relationship or for a partner or for one of your kids, because this is a road opener moon for a lot of you as well. We've got Mars entering the sign of Taurus on the 9th of the month, which is your 4th house of home, family, your living situation, home economy, as well as your roots. And so from the 9th of June and going on well into July, Mars, the planet of action, passion, energy, that obstacle clearing driving force, is kind of giving your home life, your home environment, and your family relationships the treatment. Wherever Mars goes, there is a huge focus on permanent solutions and problem solving. Now, if you have been encountering a lot of holdups or blocks, especially when it comes to maybe addressing family business or maybe environmental changes you're trying to make, moves, or maybe some adjustments you're trying to make to improve your home economy, Mars is going to be highlighting not only where the problems are, but equipping you with the tools and the power to be able to tackle those issues. Just keep in mind with Mars in the 4th house, this can also put us in situations where maybe fights, arguments, or conflicts that have been low-key become a bit more high-key for this period, especially when it comes to things that people have been tiptoeing around, people have been conflict avoidant with, or, maybe even a little bit too sheepish with that they should not be. Whatever the case is, it's just important to remember that Mars is shaking all of this up for everybody's own good. Sometimes being sheepish and low-key means a problem will last indefinitely, because no one's actually addressing it, and that can be where Mars comes in and is an inconvenient help. In the second half of the month, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all together moving on into the sign of Cancer, which is your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, community involvements when it comes to groups, teams, whether this is on a personal level or a professional level. And this is also an area that rules your lifestyle. Now, with the Sun and Venus here in your 6th house, this is a time where a lot of you Aquarian people are getting a chance to enjoy a bit of a 15 minutes of fame. And a lot of you could be noticing that your reputation is soaring everywhere, whether, it is at the office or with your business, or it's out and about town. Venus in your 6th house puts you in a choice seat when it comes to receiving important favors and hookups from members of your community. This can also be a great time in love and romance as well, because, we often find opportunities to either find love or enhance love through greater community involvements, taking on projects together. The Sun is going to be changing the way a lot of community environments or work environments operate to be more supportive and profitable with you in mind. And Mercury here is going to be speeding up not only the rate with which you are accumulating wealth, but maybe also growing towards a higher standing in a work community or a personal community that you are a part of, or maybe joining during this period, which may be more crystallized as we get closer to late September, early October. We also have a full moon in Capricorn taking place on June 21st. And so this is a full moon that I call the once-a-year breakdown breakthrough full moon. We all get one, and this is when the full moon falls in the 12th house of the past. Private matters, hidden opportunities, secrets, shortcuts, and old business that affects the present. And so starting on the 21st and likely for the 2 weeks following, there is likely going to be some kind of ending or transition that forces movement away from a situation that you are better off without, that you may not feel you have adequate resolution or completion or closure with. A lot of the times the full moon in the 12th house eliminates something that has followed us or is a part of our history or is a negative influence from behind the scenes exerting a negative influence over the present that we may have a fairly complicated history, connection, or association with. This full moon will be getting rid of that. And it could even be something that's not relevant to the present. It might just be something in our psyche or it may be something connected to another person, an aspect of our past or our family or whatever. But with the full moon here, again, it's a breakdown because it's like, okay, this is happening before I feel ready. But the breakthrough is, oh, I'm also getting something eliminated. That's the reason I can't have nice things. So roll with it. Finally, we also have Saturn turning retrograde in Pisces, your second house of income, employment, values, and valuables and security. And this is going to be a long-term retrograde, right? Outer planet retrogrades go on. And so this is going to be running from the 29th of June all the way up until the 15th of November. When we have Saturn in the second house, and you might have noticed this last couple of months, limitations, restrictions, slowdowns, and pressure may be kind of at an all-time high. With Saturn direct, Saturn being the planet of discipline, boundaries, limitations, and even karma and maturity, can often make it difficult for us to feel like we're getting ahead. And when it comes to professional or financial processes, Saturn direct in the second house can be kind of a bitch to deal with. But with Saturn turning retrograde on the 29th, this next few months, you may be also getting a chance to make up for lost time. A lot of those limitations and obstacles and blocks seem to be relaxing a little bit as Saturn takes a bit of a recess. And so if you have been finding that money's a bit more challenged, or work opportunities are not as plentiful, or there's not as much wiggle room or flexibility or room to expand, this is actually a retrograde you're going to be very happy for. So that is what I've got for you all, Aquarius. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and should you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, all of my Pisces people out there, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for June 2024. And just a quick reminder, if you enjoy weekly astrological updates, well, then you should subscribe and come back on a weekly basis, because I have those available as well. And if you ever want to get a private personal reading with me, you just need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com. So what's going on when it comes to your June? Well, the first half of the month, we have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all clustered together in Gemini, your fourth house of home, family, living situation, home economy, as well as even your roots, your family, as it might affect the present, both present and past. Now, with the Sun here in the fourth house, this is a time where a lot of healing, a lot of bonding, and a lot of clearing of old shadows is going to be given great priority, especially when it comes to you being able to make a bit of a jump away from maybe a lot of same old, negativity or negative influences that have just kind of become a part of the scenery. With the Sun in the fourth house, you might notice that your relationships with both blood relatives and chosen family, right, people that are close friends that we consider family, are starting to become a lot brighter, a lot more well-connected, and a lot more easy to engage. And Mercury here is also going to be speeding up progress when it comes to being able to accomplish a lot of household goals, family goals, or chosen family goals that we have not been able to really sink our teeth into or engage properly. Mercury here is also going to be bringing in a lot more money into your household, and so this could be money coming from you, coming from partners, or money coming from wherever sources, including home-based business operations, in order to make things all the more comfortable. And Venus is going to be helping you to plant new roots when it comes to your personal life. Now, for a lot of you, this could indicate, a period where distances are getting closed in love relationships. This might be a period where, if you are thinking about, getting closer with a partner, we might be talking about, moving in together, making plans for later in the year. We might be, merging a little bit more intensely in that way. Or with Venus in the fourth house, you may also be finding that for those of you who are single or available to new people, there is, again, the closing of a distance between you and a romantic interest or a romantic opportunity, whether whether this is you closer to them closer to you, a little bit of both, it doesn't really matter. We also have a new moon in this part of your chart on the 6th of the month. And so starting on the 6th and for the 2 weeks following, it's time for a new beginning, a new journey, a new commitment, or some kind of fresh start as it relates to your home and family and your living situation and home economy. Now, a lot of you Piscean people might score when it comes to maybe a big move. For those of you who have been thinking about changing something up as far as your home environment is concerned, if you've been house hunting, this new moon is going to be a lucky break for you. If you are thinking about making some kind of adjustment to your home environment in another way, this is also going to be a lucky break for you. And this can also indicate a new kind of relationship getting started with an important family member, bloodkin, or chosen family. We also have, Mars going on into the sign of Taurus on the 9th of the month. And Mars is going to be there all the way up through July and like pretty much all of July as well. And this is your third house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, as well as helpful third parties, allies, and even hookups to a certain degree. Now, when Mars goes into our third house, this is all about eliminating things that have become cumbersome, things that have become binding, things that have become controlling, that have been limiting you or binding you to a certain lifestyle, or life agreement, but either in your professional world or your personal world, or maybe just a smattering of all of the above. Mars is the warrior planet. Mars doesn't give a crap about contracts, doesn't give a crap about anything that could be, creating issues or restricting, the highest interest of all concerned. And so this could be a time where a lot of negative influences that you've been forced to endure or abide or have been obliged to are kind of getting their asses kicked by Mars in the third house. This is also a time where a lot of you could be working more closely with important collaborators or collaboration opportunities professionally to help not only boost your earning power, but maybe even gain from important hookups that are going to be coming your way. Mars in the third house tends to bring our allies closer to us, or puts us in a position where our allies have the time and the space to get way more involved in our goings on and become greater assets to us, whether they are hooking us up, again, in material ways, professional ways, personal ways, helping us to fight battles. It doesn't matter. It's going to be awesome for you. In the second half of the month, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all move on into the sign of Cancer, which is your fifth house of love, romance, recreation, creativity, personal enterprises, parenthood, and your relationships with your kids. And so with the Sun here, there is going to be a big focus on bringing in those stronger bonding opportunities with romantic partners, partner potentials, as well as our kids. When we have the Sun in the fifth house, this is about eliminating complications to relationship happiness and bringing in fun, bringing in recreation, levity, lightness, enjoying being kids again with our partners, as well as enjoying being a kid with our kids. This can also be a time where a lot of new creative sparks, a lot of new romantic sparks also get lit. Mercury here is going to be working hard on helping to develop better communication, as well as stronger intellectual rapports with our partners, with our kids, with our collaborators, because these two combined are very clear in their mission statement. We do need to be strong friends with these people as well. Role absorption and role embodiment does not a good relationship make, right? We need to be good friends with our partner. We do need to be good friends with our kids. We do need to be good friends with our collaborators. And so Mercury and the Sun together are actually going to be quite lovely here. In fact, Mercury in the fifth house can also speed up accomplishments with creative pursuits and, again, personal business enterprises as well. And Venus is bringing in also a lot more affection, generosity, and amorous communications between you and partners. Walls are coming down, doors are getting unlocked, and you're becoming a bit of a love and affection magnet. And so for those of you who are single or available to new people, that's also going to make for a very sweet back half of the month. Venus in the 5th house puts us all in a position to enjoy a good honeymoon kind of phase, whether it's a new relationship or it's an existing relationship that is getting a chance to go on another honeymoon, so to speak, itself. We also have a full moon in Capricorn on June 21st. And this is falling in your 11th house of friendships, your support system, as well as, and again, to an extent, community here too. And when we have a full moon in the 11th house, this is a time of social pruning, social clearing. And on the 21st, and likely, during the 2-week window period that follows, a lot of you may be taking your leave of at least one, maybe more than one association. Now, this is not likely to be something that's a surprise. Most of the time, a full moon in the 11th house highlights where maybe a group association or a friendship or a professional relationship or whatever has already been hanging by a thread, right? It's already kind of on thin ice. And it could be that the pruning begins during this time. We might be saying no more to a particular connection in that regard. Most likely something that, again, has already been trending in that direction. And finally, we've got Saturn turning retrograde in your sign, in your 1st house on the 29th. And this is huge for you Piscean people because Saturn is going to be retrograde here from the 29th all the way up to November 25th. Now, over the course of the last few months, you've probably noticed Saturn direct in your sign has been imposing a lot of limitations, a lot of obligations, a lot of restrictions, and pressure on you, right? Because that's what Saturn does. It's the planet of discipline, it's the planet of maturity, but it's also the planet of karma and the planet of boundaries and sometimes even walls. When we have Saturn direct in our sign, as it's been for you this last few months, you might have found like a lot of your life has become somewhat taken over by your obligations to other people, or your obligations to external influences that have maybe imposed themselves on your inner reality. Or you have been noticing that your life, to a certain extent, has been maybe about your obligations to others versus maybe the life that you wanted to create for yourself. And over the course of this June 29th, all the way up through November 15th, we see a bit of a change here. Those limitations, those obligations, and maybe their enforcers and sources are relaxing quite a bit. Saturn retrograde is a recess period that we can use to catch up, that we can now, once we've identified the problems that have been imposed, we can take this recess period to get away from them. And whether this has to do with you feeling like you've fallen behind in your own life, you can't really go out and take on the work that you want to take on, have the friends that you want to have the life arrangement that you want to have because of obligations externally or internally imposed, Saturn retrograde is going to be giving a lot of you Piscean people the opportunity to, again, give some of those things a slip. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget my name is Nico, Son of Selene, and should you ever wish to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.